Hi everyone, my name is Dr. Rosanna Hui. You could call me Rosie. And here today we're going to have our first special guest for my podcast, Strong Heroes Edition, Dr. Dwayne Alleyne, who
Hello.
is in the medical field and he's amazing. He's been an inspiration to me and a great mentor who's been guiding me to even start this podcast. So I'm grateful to have him today. And today, our podcast name is called Quietly Confident. And the reason why we chose this, or Dr. Dwayne Alleyne chose this, is because that's how we clicked as introverts. And we want the world to know that even though you're introvert and quiet, you can make a big impact in this world. And thank you, Dr. Alleyne. Just can you tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do for a living?
All right. So thank you for having me, Dr. Hugh. It's a pleasure to be here and talk about what it's like to be introvert. And just a little bit about myself. One thing, I was born in New York. Currently a clinical associate professor at the University of South Carolina. I'm a um, acute care nurse practitioner. I work as a hospitalist part-time. And I do multiple things. I'm part of DNPs of Color. I'm serve on the board of nursing. So I do a lot of things that's kind of difficult for an introvert. So this is really quite unusual for a lot of positions I hold that requires me to break my introvert pattern. So this will be an interesting conversation that we'll be having today.
And I thank you for taking your time out to do that and really telling the world that quiet people could really make an impact. And with all your credentials and what you do, it's really inspiring. So I'll ask you some questions. Um, have you always identify yourself as an introvert, and how do you come to understand that part of yourself?
Well, I always, before I truly understood the word introvert, I knew I was always shy and I also had social phobia. So then I came to realize as I looked into the intricacies of my personality, I realized, oh, that's why they call introvert. And I actually had to learn a little bit more in the past couple of years of what introvert was, because it wasn't not necessarily being afraid of people. It's also someone that prefers to be by themselves or does not like to be around a lot of crowds. So I kind of understood that as I tried to become more social. I tried to socialize myself since I did not like that part of myself being shy. But then I realized, well, this is something that who you are is something you shouldn't be ashamed of. So I started embracing the introvert side of myself, but also trying to become more used to being in social scenes and being around people and becoming more comfortable despite being an introvert. So that's why I started to come to understand, particularly when I got into nursing. That's why I truly understood
Mhm.
the nature of being an introvert, because you're forced to talk to people. So that introvert side, you have to combat with that because that's the only way you can truly do your job.
It's amazing how you're able to get out of your comfort zone. And it's not easy being an introvert
Mhm.
because it takes a lot of energy at times. And it's truly inspiring that you're able to get out of comfort zone and really go into the crowd and go to all these conferences and
Mhm.
that's how we met, which is fascinating of how two introvert was able to meet through
Mhm.
this big NP conference. So thank you for that. And how have you ever felt, have you ever felt misunderstood because of your quiet nature and how do you navigate that?
Yeah, so a lot of people did not like me because I was quiet. So they would give me nasty looks
Oh no.
and just kind of ignore me and say, this person, Dwayne, is just too quiet. And then
Mhm.
when I finally did talk to some people, they said, I always thought you were rude or something, but you're actually real nice and funny. And I did feel misunderstood, and that kind of made me feel bad and put more pressure on me to break
Mhm.
that introvert pattern because I didn't want people to think I was mean. I was just quiet. But once they got to know me, they had they recognized my good qualities. So I try to navigate that by, becoming more vocal and try to become brave and say hello and kind of show a side of me that people never see. So I try to not be as quiet or find ways to be able to talk to somebody. I may struggle. This is what introverts do, kind of think of something to say. Like, oh, that shirt looks nice on you, or did you hear about this? So I kind of think about phrases to say, but now I've become much more adept at it. I don't have to think about it. It becomes natural. But at the beginning, I had to think real hard and to the point where I was sweating. What can I say to break the ice? So, but now I'm good.
Yeah, I totally understand that. When I went to the NP conference, I was like, what should I say? I was the only one there. So with practice and confidence, you build that and you're able to
Mhm.
talk more. And that's amazing that you're able to do that and really get out of your comfort zone, like we were kept, saying. And what's one misconception people have about introverts and that you would love to change?
That we can be abused and stepped on.
Oh,
You can be taken advantage of,
mhm,
and that you're wimps. So I love to change that because people had to see what I call the bad side of me because they thought they can get one over on me, and once they see me
mhm,
react in an aggressive manner, protecting myself rightfully so, they become shocked. I can never. It's like one person said, "I never seen you so angry." I thought they just assume they can do whatever, but I will push back if you push my buttons. Even though I'm an introvert, doesn't mean I can be stepped on.
that's great that you're able to protect yourself, and I'm sure you protect your loved ones if something is not right. And that's actually a great example because that's the same for me as well, where people think it's okay to say something, especially I mean, it's a race thing. Being Asian, a lot of people try to talk over us or bully us because they think we're not going to talk back. But
Mhm.
even though we're introverts, we know what's right and wrong. And
Mhm.
it's good that you're giving people example that it's okay to speak up, even though you're quiet.
Be assertive. That it's okay to be assertive.
Exactly. Great word. Assertive is a right word. What does your inner dialogue sound like during moments of growth or self-doubt?
Yeah. So my inner dialogue, it says a lot during growth and self-doubt. It was to say, get it together, Dwayne. You can do it. You got strength. It's okay to make mistakes. It says you'll get it right the next time. It's
Mhm,
not a big deal. Um, doesn't matter if this person is not talking to you.
mhm,
Um, build that confidence. You are somebody special.
mhm.
So you don't have to be this way. You can be who you are. So I kind of self-motivate myself, focus on the positive side, and kind of think about things that people talked about, said positive attributes people had said about me, and I use that to motivate myself to be encouraged and encourage myself. So that's what my inner dialogue does. It's pretty much repeat,
Mhm.
motivate, encourage myself.
That's amazing because a lot of people have self-doubts and they could do more than they think. And it's important because you have to love yourself because who else will love you more than yourself? And
Mhm.
you're explaining really well that we should all do that. Um, okay. And what routines or rituals help you recharge and reconnect with yourself?
My favorite routine, and that's something like Hugh and I have in connection. We like to
Mhm,
work out.
mhm,
So I think that's one of the reasons we connect was working out has more than meaning just trying to look good and trying to get
mhm,
stronger. It's actually something that because I don't talk to a lot of people in the gym. So I see people have full-blown conversations. It's just me and my headphones. It's something that builds up my self-esteem. It was one of the things I considered first thing I was good at working out where I got compliments and people wanted to be my friend. So the gym is something special to me as a therapy to help build up, continue that confidence, keep those inner conversations positive. So that's how I reconnect with myself by working out and staying focused, and that's why I stay consistent.
and that's amazing. I see your hard work, and you didn't tell, your the people watching or listening today about your success of how much weight you lost, and you should tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I told you I'm a nurse practitioner. One of my first shifts was night shift, and I'm not a night shift person. So in order to stay awake, I would eat everything,
Mm.
Danish, anything I could eat to stay awake. And I realized one day I gained all this weight. And I realized that was when I was trying to run on the treadmill, I was short of breath. My chest was bouncing up and down unusually.
Oh
So,
no!
so I was in pain. It actually hurt when my
Oh
chest
no!
muscles were bouncing.
Mm.
So I knew it was fatty flab. It
Mhm.
wasn't muscle anymore.
Oh.
So when I got short of breath chasing my daughter, I realized I had to do something about it. So I started looking at a keto diet.
Mhm.
And it worked best for me because of my schedule. It's good for people that have busy schedule, right? Because I can do well with eating twice a day, so it allowed me to do that, and I wouldn't get hungry throughout the day, and also gave me some great energy. So I lost about 50 pounds, and I've been on it for a while. I've been kind of off it for now, but I've been sticking with it for about 5 years and it's been pretty consistent and been able to maintain the weight for the most part.
That's inspiring. How much weight did you say you lost total in 5 years?
Probably 50 pounds because I was too embarrassed to weigh myself at first.
I'm sure it's more because also
Yeah.
muscle weight's more. So
Yeah.
I'm sure he's just being humble about it. I'm sure he lost a lot more weight than that. And if you follow him, you'll see his progress and you'll be inspired. Um, and it's great. And that's how we clicked because he saw this girl working out. And he's like, wow, she works out too. And it's part of the introverts where you feel like you're in your own world and you just feel so much better. And I'm the
Mhm.
same as you. I don't talk to people at the gym and people think I'm rude, but it's just like our own getaway.
Mhm.
It's great. We have limited time. We do so many things, and that's the gym is our sacred
That's
place.
my sacred ground, sacred space is just me, the music, and I'm just doing it.
Exactly. And your adrenaline rush,
Mhm.
which is great. Have you ever felt pressure to be more outgoing to succeed? And how do you handle it?
Yes. So I always, especially when I would go somewhere
Hmm.
and everyone knows everyone and I don't know everyone.
Hmm.
So and there would you have that loud person in the room. So I felt like I had to do that. There was many times when I felt like I had to be the loud person in the room, and I just feel embarrassed because everyone is chatting with everyone, and I'm just sitting in the corner. So I handle it because I've learned to socialize better. So now I ended up being the person in the room. So it's very unusual when go in. I think after COVID was the first time I went out and I had a bunch of people that knew me that came up to me. That was very unusual because I never had that before.
Mm.
I was usually the person in the corner that didn't know anybody,
Mhm.
and then I became that person that knows everyone and the one that everyone comes to, and I'm busy. So at this point in time, I there's places I can't go where I don't know everyone, and I'm busy chatting. And I get tired because tired of talking to everyone. So I know I don't feel that pressure, but what I did is kind of learn how to communicate. Um, I did something to help overcome my shyness. So there's certain things I did
Mhm.
to overcome. One of the things I would do if I go to a conference, like you said, Doctor, you went to the conference by
Yeah.
yourself. Um, One of the things I did when I purposely sit at a table by myself and then wait for people to come in and I introduce myself and force myself to talk to people. I want to go with my friends or very few people I knew at that time. I would just
Mhm.
go by myself and just sit at a table and say, I'm going to talk to three people. So,
Wow.
so I would force myself to
Amazing.
do that. And I'll talk, and I did it, and I was successful. And I kind of increased it up. I said, okay, I'm going to talk to five people and introduce myself and start. So there was something that, and it took time. It wasn't easy, but the more I did it, and the more comfortable I became, now it's like second nature just to go up to somebody and say, hey, my name is Dwayne. Nice to meet you. What do you do? I already know the formal questions and how to build on conversations. So that's what I did. So now that helped me handle the pressure to be outgoing.
That's amazing. Because you you were at the conference, you knew like a million people. I was the only one there, and I was like you when what you described. I was at the corner, and I was like, all right, should I talk to people? Everyone's in their own little clique. And I think I just got lucky. The conference I went with you, I there was like some event for drinking, of course. Maybe that's why people were talking. I don't know what it is. So I was just waiting for a drink, and someone was being very nice and came to me. One of actually a DNP individual, and she was being nice, and she invited me to a group, and I was grateful for that. But that's actually a great idea for sitting there and talking to three. Have you had the situation where you sit somewhere and no one talks to you?
Yes, I had that.
So you
And
would force yourself.
yeah, I would force myself to talk to the
Wow.
person um, because And I do that too. And now I learn if somebody's sitting by themselves,
Yeah.
I would talk to them because I know how it felt to be them.
Oh,
That's why when I
that's
met you,
sweet.
I made sure I introduced you to people because I know how it felt to be the only. Because the first time I went to the AMP conference, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know anybody. Had no friends. Just kind of walking around
Mhm.
lost. I had to force myself to talk to people, but many times I felt lonely. So I understood how it feels like not to know people and not to be known. So like I said, it's a big deal to be known and all these people to recognize me. And everywhere I go, I always run into somebody I know now. So it's a
And now
big
you're
change.
famous.
Yeah, it's a big
Now
change.
everyone's like, I know him. He's a famous guy. And and I really appreciate that you brought me in. But for some of the listeners, how I met him was very interesting. I don't think we really kind of like stated it. Basically, wanted to go to this nurse practitioner conference, and I didn't have anyone going with me. But being the bold me, I was like, okay, I'm just gonna go myself because I want to learn. But then I saw this nice guy online who we connected on LinkedIn. And we basically, I saw that he was posting a lot of things and I was like, oh, he's inspiring. So I was like, okay, he seems like he's going to the conference. I was like, let me message him. And guess what? He was a very friendly guy and we met up in the conference and then he introduced me to a bunch of people, which I really appreciate because I felt alone and I didn't know what to do. Even being at the table, no one spoke to me and it was hard. Like I didn't want to just be like, "Hey, my name is this," when everyone's clicked together, you know?
Mhm.
So that's a great advice and whoever's listening, I would recommend you do that. Actually, I'm gonna start doing that myself because
Mhm.
that's something I still don't do, being honest. Like if there's a table, I sit there and there's a click, I might not just go to one of them and say, "Hey, my name is," but now I might with
Mhm.
your
Good enough.
inspiration. There's nothing to be afraid of. Like,
Nope.
so you would just introduce your name. Is there like something special that you would say or like based on their outfit or any recommendations?
So I would say my name, and it depends on, of course you have to read the scene where you're at. So
Yeah.
most time at a nurse practitioner conference, say, where do you work? And then kind of say, how do you like it? Kind of start a conversation. It depends on how they respond. Some people will be shy, they may ask, just respond
Mhm,
a little bit, and then you can tell by how they smile. If they
mhm,
interact with you as well, you may continue to talk. So I learned that it's something that it doesn't come natural.
mhm,
So you would have to continue to do it. And it took years. So this is something that I just snapped and did. It was something I learned over time because another thing I have difficulties, I teach undergrad students, and talking to them is a whole different, and having a conversation with them, that's a whole different level. So I would have long conversations with my students, and that's very challenging because I'm not 20. So, so you learn how to break and change conversations with different people, even though you're in different culture wise or different
mhm.
geographically, you learn how to shift and change the conversation. So I always say this, and I'm gonna put it on blast. Rosanna is a very interesting person. She sleeps on herself, but she's somebody that's very interested that you can have a great conversation with. She just kind of lights up the where she is because she does a lot. She has a lot of qualities about her that will make her somebody interesting to talk to. So I'm put on blast. Sorry.
Oh, thank you. He just made me shy and blushing because I didn't expect that. But thank you for your
Yeah.
kind word. I'm just a normal human like everyone else
Mhm.
that's just trying to make a difference. So I'm trying to be more extroverted. And with Dr. Lean's motivation and guidance, he pushed me to do this podcast and to be a better version of myself. And I'm beyond grateful for that. And whatever he shares, I hope everyone is able to use that knowledge and just remind yourself that you are capable of
Mhm.
more, regardless of what people say, even though you're an introvert.
Mhm.
And he's a perfect example of that because I'm learning from him now because I still honestly don't do what he just told us. So that's great examples that I'm gonna start doing, which I may hesitate because I don't know what to say. But I guess you would say with experience, there's sometimes you would try to talk and people would have different response or ignore you. You would say that.
Yeah, people would ignore you, but you
Yeah.
just, so one of the things, because one of the things that keep people from talking is you're afraid, fear of rejection.
Mhm.
So when you get over the fear of rejection, say, well, that's fine, they didn't talk to me. That's fine. I'll just talk to someone else. Or they may have a bad day because I had people that didn't talk to me the first time and all of a sudden they're
Mhm. Oh,
chatty
wow.
the next day.
Next time.
So they may just not feel, and I've been that way where I didn't feel like talking.
Mhm.
So I'm always cognizant if I'm not feeling good and someone talks to me, I force myself to talk to them.
Mhm.
I don't feel like it because I know that they may be trying to, break through an introverted pattern.
Mhm.
So I'm cognizant of that as well. But just being able to not be embarrassed or just because someone doesn't talk to you or receive you as you expect them, that's okay. Okay, they didn't receive me. That's fine. I'll talk to somebody else and just move on. And once you get over that, it becomes easier to be socialized with all the people.
That's a great tip because that's still something I fear. I'm like, if they're gonna ignore me, it hurts, right? But you kind of just let it be because some people just don't click well. And
Hmm.
some people like us click really well, and you're surprised how that even
Yeah,
worked. It just
and that's true. You may not click, but those that click, that's you can talk forever and ever. So I probably could talk forever with Rosanna because we have a lot in common.
mhm,
Um,
interest.
so
Mhm.
introverts, I always get along with introverts more
Yeah, I
so.
found that. Yeah, introverts. Yeah, I actually didn't even know he was an introvert, actually, because he had like so many friends and such a large connection. I was fairly surprised that I was able to talk to him so well
Mhm.
until he told me, and I was surprised. And I'm glad we're making this podcast because introverts are unique in our own way, and this is how we thrive through experience and being uncomfortable. So thanks for sharing that.
Mhm.
And how do you balance vulnerability and self-protection in conversations and relationship?
How do I balance? Oh goodness. So I kind of talked about that was you become vulnerable
Mhm.
because you have that fear
Yeah.
of being judged or being
Mhm.
rejected. And then self-protection was one of the things when I first came out, it kind of pulled me back into shyness is I told someone a secret and they spread my secret all over the place.
Mm.
Because though they trusted them, but everyone knew my secret. So that kind
Mhm.
of pulled me back and I had to protect myself. So one of the things you have to do is use discretion with
Mhm.
people you talk to. Kind of don't just because one of the things one of the biggest mistakes introverts can do is when they get comfortable with somebody, they immediately tell everyone their business. So you have to
Mhm.
slowly work up and build that trust. So
Mhm.
don't sit there and just blab everything. Build that trust. Test the water slowly. And that's the one thing that I would say. That's how you balance vulnerability and self-protection. Kind of slowly build the trust with the person, build that confidence, and then you start to share um, gradually with them. And that's how but don't go out there and tell them all your business and
Mhm.
immediately, because you have to take time to grow. It takes time to grow into relationships. So when I say somebody is my friend, that's truly that word has true meaning. So I have acquaintances and I have friend. A friend means I truly care for you. You are somebody that made an impact in my life. So if I call you friend, that means something. So.
Well, thank you. And Dr. Alleyne is a great friend, and he's always very supportive, and he's very empathetic as a person and human. And I'm grateful to have met you and be your friend
Mhm.
because I myself don't, people think I have a lot of friends, but I'm selective because, like you were saying, people will tell your business to everyone if you
Mhm.
tell the wrong person. So
Mhm.
it's very important as introverts to kind of gauge, I guess, through experience, we're older now, that we
Mhm.
could see who is real or not,
Yes.
right? And
Who's
their
a real friend?
intentions.
Yes.
Yeah. And you will see if they go through life with you through good and bad, those are friends.
Mhm.
If they're just here for talk and fun, do you consider those friends, right?
Mhm.
So those are some traits that I notice if they're just here for, I have a lot of friends where we just go have fun, like parties, things like that. But those are not really real friends. And that's
Mhm.
the ones who are like, okay, let me be cautious of what I say to them.
Mhm.
Especially introverts, they might not fully understand they're extroverts, so they start blabbing it to everyone. So it's important to be cautious of that.
Mhm.
And I'm sorry that that happened to you in the
Mhm.
past, but I'm sure
Live
that
and
made you
learn. Live and learn.
stronger. And now
Yeah.
you're invincible. You're like, okay, I know this person's no good. I'm not telling them anything.
Mhm.
And it's good to protect yourself. And what advice would you give to a young introvert struggling to find their voice?
So I would tell them is first build your self-confidence. Um, build, understand that you are somebody special. You don't have to be like the others out there. You just need to be yourself.
Mhm.
One thing about introverts, I find out they have the best qualities. They're the most interesting people, but no one knows because they cover themselves for whatever reason, either shame or shyness. So they cover themselves. But one of the things I noticed, people were drawn to me the more I exposed myself. That's why you see me on the internet now, because and even to this day, I still have self-doubt. I'm still baffled. I'm even baffled somebody like Rosanna wanted to be my friend because I looked at her page when she first contacted me. I was like, because usually somebody that's trying to scam me and stuff, I say, oh yeah, she's a bodybuilder, she's married, and she got a lot going on. Why does she want to be my friend? I'm nobody special. So she got it going on. That's what I thought when I kind of looked at her page. And then I noticed that with all the people that people like drawn to me for some reason. I said, what is it about me? I'm not special. And then people would tell me my personal qualities. So I would tell them to show yourself. You'll start, people will realize the qualities, they'll tell you the qualities you have in yourself. There's a lot of reason you're struggling to find your voice was you muffling your voice.
Mhm.
You are keeping things inside. You're not showing people your true self. And then you still use that protection. Don't blame yourself, but truly show what you like to do, what's your interest, what's your passion. Just show it, and you'll see how people been drawn to you. That's why I have a big network. Was I started to show myself when I kept myself shrunk in one space. People didn't know who I was, but when I started shining, people come up to me. I said, "I saw you in this, and you did this." And I said, "Oh, I didn't know." I said, why do you
Wow.
think I'm like this?" I didn't. I was shocked how people say about me. I'm still shocked to this day. But I did realize that the more I show myself, the more the more my network has grown, and then so that's and I no longer have to struggle to find my voice.
And I love that about you that you're able to just be your authentic self and people see value. And that's actually something I learned from you as well. And I actually recently learned that where I used to try to fit in. I'm like, oh, I'm introverted. Let me try to fit in these groups. And that's the worst decision because it's never going to work if you're not your true self. And once I was a true self, I was able to, find people that are true, so, like yourself, where you didn't think I was a scammer anymore, thankfully.
Mhm.
I wasn't a scammer. I was just one of those people who like to achieve more in lifetime and challenge myself. That's why you saw the bodybuilding and such. It's just to motivate people to show that regardless of who you are, you're capable because no one would think that I would do bodybuilding. And I'm an introvert because that's not a very introvert thing to do. And that's actually something I would probably talk about in another podcast, but it's to scare myself. And that really scared the hell out of me. Because imagine it's like a pageant. You're surrounded by people judging you. That's like the worst nightmare. And that gets you experience where when you get scared, you become stronger.
Mhm.
And then you're not scared of anything. And those are great advice that we both have. And I hope that would inspire the younger introvert to not be afraid to share their voice because there's so much they know in their mind quietly that people could utilize it to improve their lives and become their best version of themselves. So, what do you hope people remember you for, not loudly, but meaningfully?
And remember me for being an inspiration and someone that truly cares for the human race and somebody that wants to see those down be lifted up, those that feel less than feel confident, that you don't have to have money, you don't have to have a perfect body. Your true inner in itself can be somebody that touches someone's life and inspires and encourages somebody. Because you never know who sees what you're doing. One of the things I never realized because I don't sit there and say, "Hey, let me inspire you." I never
Mm.
realized I inspired people. So, so that's how I would say, remember me for being someone that's inspirational, someone that's humble, and not just about myself, but it's about seeing others be reach their success and their potential. So,
Yes, that's important because the social media is a very interesting place because I noticed something as well where people will look at your stories. I don't know if you noticed that. A lot of people will look at your stories and people would not click like or say a single word for years. But then randomly, it will take like maybe one day, one moment, they might contact you and be inspired by you. So I would say keep up the great work. You're inspiring everyone, including myself, your students, your daughter, your wife, everyone around you. And you are a great example of an introvert that's thriving and making a big impact in this world each day. And thank you for joining us on this podcast today. And I'm beyond grateful for your time. And any questions you have for me or you would like to tell the world before we stay tuned for the next episode for the Strong Heroes Edition podcast.
no, thank you for having me. It was great. This was a great conversation. I can tell you that the more I talk to Dr. Hugh, the more interesting she becomes. I just say that she's a gift that that keeps giving. I'll say, watch out, world, which when the true Rosanna Hui comes out, everyone's going to be impressed and impactful. So she's also inspirational as well. Um, so it's not just about me, but she's definitely made a significant progress from the first time I met her. Shy young lady at the AMP conference, and she's been making strides and letting her true inner self show out. So and it's making an impact. I'm sorry you'll make it. You will see. You won't see it directly. You'll see it indirectly. So keep doing what you're doing. Keep glowing. Keep showing. Keep being show the true world who Rosanna Hugh is. So I appreciate you having me. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
That's very sweet of you. And it's because people like you that make me not dim my light
Mhm.
and actually show my light and try to inspire people just like yourself. And I'm sure we could do this together in the future and continue to inspire the world and maybe another topic that you might be interested in discussing. And thanks for being the amazing you and you keep inspiring everyone around you. And thanks for your kindness and for always being so supportive and commenting everything because my own husband doesn't even do that. Don't tell him. Hopefully he's not watching this podcast. He's gonna beat me up, but it's okay. But thank you for being extremely supportive from the time I met you, and I am very thankful for that, and it truly makes an impact in my life more than you know, or more than my expression in my face because this awkward Asian face is not showing it. So thank you for everything that you have done and for everyone and me. And
Um,
hopefully talk to you soon about
yep. We got a
thanks
lot
for
more
your
to
time.
do. We got a lot more
Yeah,
to
so
do.
he's a busy guy, so we'll let him go and stay tuned for the next podcast.
All right. You take care.
Take care.
All right.